You are welcome to House of Ada, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you how to sew this peplum top. Here is padded. It's going to start from the cutting of the princess dart to the padding and how I made the back so that it is well lined at your back without giving you those cow or some kind of bumps at the back, and to how the flare was cut and made, and to the sleeves. So if this is your goal, keep watching and you are going to learn how to make this. And on this channel I share so many videos about my sewing, so if you like what you're about to get, kindly subscribe to support me to make more videos, and stay tuned for more educational videos on how to sew your clothes like this on my channel. And if you are an old subscriber, you are welcome, and thank you for your love and your support. And without wasting much of your time, let's dive straight into the video. To draft the pattern, I'm going to give you, this is my fabric. I folded it into two. This is it. I'm using my cotton lining because it's going to save you the stress of wasting material, and you don't have to cut on the cotton or on a paper. You just cut on your lining. And here I mark out 1 inch, and this is going to be your shoulder. This is my shoulder line. Make sure that is equal. So this 1 inch here is my shoulder line. I place my tape. Some people 8 is their armhole, or say armpit, and some is 9. And my waist, I'm going to make it 15. This is 15, and the half length is going to be 2 inches away from the waist, which is 17, and I'm putting 18 as my seam allowance. I extend the lines so you can know what I am doing. Your neckline can be 3 by 3. If it's 3 by 3, it's going to be short. Like me, I want to make it down to 5 here, so it's going to be 5 for me here, and 3.5. So by the time I finish making the neck is 4. But I don't want the neck to be square, so it's going to be a U neck. If you want a square neck, you can leave it like this, but for me I want it like U, so I'm going to make it 5.5 there. And my shoulder is 16, which is 8, and I'm going to add half an inch. So by the time I finish sewing is 8 there, and I take it down to my armhole. But like you know, your armhole is not square in shape, you have to curve it in. And because the front part is not straight like this, you have to bring it in half an inch in like this, and to this place, half an inch inward, no more than half an inch, because it's the front. And your shoulder, you slant it. This is my shoulder line, and this is my half an inch sewing allowance. And to the front here, to cut my princess cut, my princess dart. So my nipple length is 10 here, and my under bust, the under bust is the area under your bust, not exactly your waist. My under bust is here 14.5, and this is my half length still. So to cut your princess dart, you come to your nipple length. My nipple length, the nipple length is from the point of one nipple to the other nipple, so you measure it correctly in order to have your exact measurement. And my own is 8 plus half an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to cut like that here 4 plus 4.5, and the same way I'm going to do like that on my half length here. So here I'm going to measure my bust. My bust is 40 into 4 is 10. Under bust is 33 into 4 is 8.2 here, because you have to measure the area exactly under your bust so that is well fitted and make the cup here to cup very well. And my waist is 35 by 4 is 8.8 is here. To this place you are going to be adding 3 inches. So 1 inch we are going to take that out here, and there is for your seam sewing allowance. I have 3 here, you add 3 here, you add 3 here, we'll be leaving, and this is the shape. So I place tape from my shoulder line. So here I'm going to mark 4 inches here, and I'm going to connect it to this line straight down like this. Remember, this one is straight already. From that 4 you mark 2 inches to the breast point here. I'm going to slant it, and here I'm going to take away 2 and take away 2 here. So this is what you will have, and from this cup you dot it till it comes to this place. So you see what you have taken out here, and here is what we have added here, the 2 inches we have taken out. So I'm going to make it curved. If it's pointy, it's going to be faulty after sewing. This is your princess cut here. What I will do now is to slant this area so that by the side it comes in. Remember, this is your under bust, and this is your arm, and this is the shoulder line, and this is your breast point, your under bust, and this the waist line. Before you cut it off, it just happens like after cutting this area is going to be smaller, so you add in half an inch to make it the same with the upper part here. This is your half an inch. You now add it here, and I will cut off all these areas. This is the front. I set it aside. To make the back pattern, you repeat the guideline you gave on the front side, but first of all I'm going to be marking out zip allowance, and I'm going to make it 2. So from the beginning here I will extend 2. Remember, I folded my fabric, my cotton lining, into 2 for easy sewing, and I mark out the 2 inches off. I'm going to mark off 1 inch like I did on the front side, but there's going to be a little different at the back. This is my shoulder line, and I leave the 1 inch, and I give my 8 inches arm length, my 15 waist, and the half length. Instead of making it 18 like I did on the front, I'm going to make it 17, half an inch off with it was 17 in front with half an inch, with 1 inch 18, so here is going to be 16 with 1 inch 17, and I extend the line for easy recognition. My shoulder is 16 into 2, 8 plus half an inch. I extend it. In front, you noticed I went in with half an inch, but at the back I won't do that because your back is bigger. So I just curve in this, just that. And my neck is still 3.5, and because I like V-neck at the back, I'm just going to make it down to 8. So it's 3.5. By the time I finish sewing, it's 4. And this is how I do my V-neck. So I don't just do like V, I make it like it's like U, and I come down gentle V. So there's a shape it gives at the back of your clothes. My bust 40 into 4, 10. Waist 33 into 4, 8.2. And my half length 8.7. So you see the back. If I'm to do my normal, remember here I carved it at the other side, so you do the same. You bring it in by half an inch, just like I did. But here what I'm going to do is, just like I did in front, this one I'm going to still mark 4.5, or 4.5. But because there is no curve at the back, there is no bust at the back, it's going to be a different one. So if I'm to do my just normal old pattern of that, the regular that you see in the dresses, so what I would do is just to curve here, and I just do my normal that, and I curve here, and I do this. But this is a princess that, so I come in here, I make it 4, just like I did in front, and I connect it to this place. Don't mind this line, please. And because there is no breast point at the back, so this is what I'm going to do here, half an inch. I'll just take this down, so when I cut you will see it properly. And to my shoulder, I'm going to slant it because the shoulder is not straight. And to avoid the bulging out of the zip at the back, so you do like this. So 1 inch at the center, at the waist, make it 1, and here 1.5, here too 1.5. This is how you take out that back bulging out of the zip. And I'm going to cut. Remember, your shoulder is here. This is my half an inch, so I'm going to cut off here. And when you cut here as well, you increase here, because eventually it's going to go up. And here you add in only 2 inches, because what we took out is not much. So you have 1 inch off here, 1 inch off. 1 inch is your sewing allowance. You already have your zip allowance here, so remember that, bear that in mind. If you are enjoying this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. So as you can see, what we took is just 1 inch from this place, and that is it. To sew it, since the pattern's drafted already on my cotton lining, I have traced out the material. So this is the material I'm using, and so this is what I have here, and this is for the back. This is for the back as well. I will start with the back because it is easier, then we'll move to the front, which has more work to be done. So for my back, I have no big business here to do. All I have to do is to iron or we call it gum stay or flakes here. If I go to the market, I just tell them gum stay in UK here, and they give it to me. So there is no bust in front. You just iron the flakes on or the gum stay to the neckline of the bag. In this way, it's going to make the neck relaxed, and that is the only padding you would do on the back. But front has got loads of padding. Like women, we have so many issues. And for the lining, I'm going to do the same thing on the lining to put this just on the neckline. You turn it over and repeat the same process. So after doing it, this is it, the two necklines. So this is your back, and so this is how it's going to be like. Like this. So I'm going to hold it down like this, and I sew it all the way up. I'll keep this aside and do the front part. To sew the front, just like I put on the lining, I'm going to put the gum stay on the cotton lining as well. This is going to make it stiffen up a little. I'm using the same gum stay. I don't know what it is called where you are, but make sure it has blue, light blue. There is a stiff one, don't buy that, buy the very soft one. This is the center part. I did it halfway because the bust is halfway here, and here is just my tummy. For the sides, I like to iron on the sides I drew my pattern. So the dirty work is inside, is sewn on the inside, not the outside, for my two breast patterns. And I keep this aside. Now to the main body. This is the front part, so I turn over to the back. Make sure to prepare it first before you iron on your pad. So this is it. In Nigeria we call this light pad, the one that has gum. You can see it's shiny, you could feel the glue. So some people, they still know it as light pad or wadding. Remember, half 2 inches off from here is your waist, so we don't need the padding here. You want it on the, so this should be your breast point, and between here and here is your, there is your under bust. So you have to iron from your shoulder to, this is going to make everywhere full, so it won't show. Just like this. You can use the bigger padding, or I prefer using the light padding because it makes it look natural. So this is it. You cut it off. This is the center, and for the two sides, prepare it, stretch. Just like you did on the front, you leave about 2 inches from the same way. Remember, keep this space, and that is the two sides ready. So as you can see, it's light and natural. So now to sew the front part, you start with this, and I'm going to start from here and sew and show you how I do that. Just like I explained, this is the upper part, and I'm going to be starting from here to sew. And I'll be sewing 1/2 inch in. And towards the center, you sew it gradually. And I do on this is one for this side, and I'm going to start here for the other side. So that is basically what you have to do, and I'm going to double stitch the two sides so that it doesn't open up after wearing it. For the back, just like I explained to you, this is the neckline. So you start from here just like you did on the front part, so the back has no big issues. You just hold it down and sew. And that is the back. You repeat that, and remember, after sewing you have to sew the linings just the same way you sewed the main pattern and the main fabric. You just sew the lining like that. After sewing, you use your tailor's ham and you iron the seam. Please do not top stitch this, it's going to look horrible. Open it up, iron it, it looks neat and better like that. After ironing, this is how it's going to look like even without someone wearing it. This is your princess that or princess cut bodice blouse. Then after joining the front and the back pattern together, the next thing is to attach your flay. And for you to attach the flay, you measure round the waist from starting from the zipper allowance to the other zip allowance. Whatever it gives you, you use that to cut out your flay. You measure round. And my own waist is 35, so I'm not going to go ahead and cut the flay. To make the 360 degrees flay peplon, you are going to fold your fabric into 4. This is the front side, so I'm going to fold it backwards because I'm going to draw here. So you fold into 4 square shapes. This is 1, so this is 4, this is 4, and it's square. You make sure that it is square in shape to save your fabric. You fold it again, making it 8 folds. Fold into this, so you can see where this one ends. This is 8. You iron it out to make it flat. since we folded into 8, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this side 4, making it 8 folds. So it's 30. 5 plus 2 inches zip allowance at the back is going to be 37. 37 divided by 8 is going to give you 4.6. So this is my 4.6 here. Make sure you start with the point 4.6 here, and you measure 4.6 all round as you go. This is 4.6, and I don't want it too long. I'm going to make it 7, the length 7 plus 1 inch seam allowance for here and half inch here, so it's going to be 8.5 in total. You make sure it is 8.5 all round. As I take my tape round, I measure 8.5. 8. The next thing, you cut off the area you already. So you take off this, and the next thing, you spread it out and cut open here. With my horsetail braid, I'm going to sew it at the edge, starting from the front. I'm going to place this. You don't have to stretch it. So this is the back, you sew it at the edge like this. Don't stretch it. So I'm going to sew it all round here. This is going to make it more full and more flay, just like I explained. So I'm going to sew at the edge. As you sew, don't stretch the braided horsehair. It's going to make it look funny and it won't look full. You cut it off. You now start from this end where you stopped. So what you do is to gently pull this to this side, making sure that you have that half an inch here, and you start to top stitch. Do it gently so it can give you the best beautiful result ever, leaving half an inch all through as you sew. The next thing is to iron. After ironing, you see the braided horsehair is going to make it more full as well. And once your flay is ready, I'm going to hold it to determine the center point of the flay. And here you make the notch, and I already did that on the front part of the blouse. What I do is I open it up, I place the center of my flay to the center of the blouse. Then from here, I'm going to pin all the way. This is to make sure that they are all well lined. As you can see, that is being extended here. I will pin up this side too, and to this zip allowance here, and I go to my machine and I'm going to sew it all round. Can you see that? Very neat. Make sure to iron the seam after sewing. So the next thing is to add the sleeves. I'm going to do a cup sleeve for this blouse. Do the sleeves, you measure from your shoulder 8. Make sure you take it down to 8 here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 and a half. And I'm going to connect it to this place and still curve it like this. So I'm going to cut off this, and I will repeat that on this sleeve here too. Now it is ready. I'm going to cut out the sleeves. To learn how to do your C cup sleeve, it's usually very short, not longer than 5 inches, so you can raise your hands up. This is it. And here, depending on the roundness of the arm, you measure from one arm drop to the other, and it's usually like 9. If the person is slim, it can be 7, it can be 8, but my one is 9 plus half an inch sewing allowance, and this is 5. So this is it, and you curve it like that. You make it into 2 if you are going to line it, but if you're not lining, what you can simply do is to just use the pattern you have created and then get the material and cut it up. So I cut the cotton lining into 2, and with this I cut it from the fabric as well. Then after tracing out your fabric, what you have to do is to cut off that 1 inch extra allowance. So you have it here on your fabric now. What you do is to tip it here. So I'm going to sew here and here. The sewing, pull it up like this. Trim off the excess and overlock. Before attaching the sleeves, I would like to make little gathers here, so that by the time I draw it, the whole length here would be 5 inches. So it looks a bit puffy and it's going to look more beautiful when like this. Making gathers, I made a straight line of loose stitches and you just pull it. That is what it means to do your gathers. Be gentle with it, because if it cuts, that means you have to go and sew it again. This is it. To attach my sleeves, then I get the center of my cup here of my sleeve, and with the center of this one I pin it on the inside. And I'm going to sew it all round, and I will repeat that here too. After sewing on the sleeves, you can't leave here like this. What I will do is to fold it half an inch, and I'm going to stop stitch it all round. This is how the sleeves were hemmed, you see, and I added my zipper. So if I turn it on the turn the front part of it, this is how it's looking like, neatly made on both sides. And this is the fitting, guys, and look at the bust cup, everything well aligned. And my play, can we talk about the play, the bag? See the fitting at the back. If you enjoyed watching this video, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel to support me, and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with everyone you know that would be interested in this video. And that is it all for making this top, guys, and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.